Hey, welcome to Aristeia 99. Today we're talking about Gata. So we're just going to get straight into the stat card right here. She has an initiative of 7, which is phenomenal. I don't think I've seen any characters who naturally have higher than a 7. She has a movement of 5. This is above average. This is fantastic. She has an energy of 5, normal for pretty much all characters in the game. And she has a health of 2. She goes squish pretty easily. Gata is a scoring character, so you're not really wanting to get into combat with her, and you'll see more of why that's the case as we go through. Next up, we have her defense. It is a blue die and a black die. This is really among one of the worst in the game. The black die gives you a 50-50 chance of getting a block. That's one. Not great. And a blue die. Blue dies are normal. They're good, but just the two together is not really awe-inspiring, let's be honest. Next up, she has the brawl of a yellow. This is fairly awful. If someone wants to get somewhere, she's really not the person you want to try and stop them with. Now, one for character switches is on 2 exclamation points. She may nullify a success from an adjacent opponent's roll. This is them, Aristeia, Corvus Belli, throwing her a bone. You got a 1 in 6 chance of stopping someone. Let someone else do that. She might be useful in assisting someone where she can contribute a black die to their brawl roll. But she should ideally not be making that roll, if at all possible. Finally, we get into really what helps define her, and that's her disengage roll. She has a red die and an orange die, so these are both very success-heavy dice. Plus, the red die gives you a chance at a critical, an automatic success that cannot be countered except by a green die. Not so many characters with green dice in their brawls. Her character switches are, again, 2 exclamation points, 2 bangs to nullify a success from your adjacent opponent's roll, and that's important, adjacent. Or 2 bangs to displace yourself. So, not bad. Her first ability is probably one of the most important she has, though. For 1 energy point, you can use misdirection. It's an orange die, it's a yellow die. So, decent chances of success, although if she is stunned, which takes away 1 success, she's going to have a not so great time with that. Anyways, if you successfully misdirect someone, you can impose the dazzle stake to them. This is what makes Gata one of my favorite characters, particularly with dealing with long-range powerhouses such as not only Wild Bill and Major Luna, but you can also deal with a few melee characters this way. I'm thinking specifically of Shona, as well as Hammerhead. On top of that, this is a great way to shut down characters who provide buffs and require line of sight to do so within their range. So for instance, you're going to be looking immediately at Hannibal. An enemy opposing Hannibal, use misdirection on him, you get him dazzled, and he can no longer provide point man. Likewise, if the other team has, oh dear, I'm going to say this wrong again, Pavarti, then you can stop her from healing. And likewise, some machine guns of hers are kind of nasty. So misdirection is probably one of my favorite abilities in the game. Now, it is a 1-1 range. She does have to be adjacent to them. But this couple, when you take her ability to disengage so easily along with her next ability, it's not as bad as it seems. She has a 0-point ability called Free Run. This automatically happens, you don't have to roll for it. And basically, you spend 1 movement point to place yourself in any free space adjacent to the target. Now, the target can be a friendly character, it can be an opposing character, or it can be an obstacle, not a block space, an obstacle in the hexadome. This also, as the game is going now, you can also use minions for that, which I think is pretty awesome. And this basically allows you to leapfrog over them. So if you want to get to the opposite side of them, it costs you 1. But instead of moving into their space, which you can't do, you go 1 past them. And you can go in any direction you want to, which is a very nice factor of that as well. In fact, if you were to actually line up 5 things with a space in between, you could actually run, spend 2 energy, and move 10 hexes. That's nuts. That's bonkers. And it makes her hard to contain. This is why not only is she a scoring character, fantastic for getting around the board, but again, for me, I'm using her as a countermeasure to ranged characters. I can get past the front line, as it were, which is generally going to be more melee or shorter range characters, and get to the longer range characters or get to the buffing characters in the back. Shutting down Hexer is usually a good idea, for instance. Finally, we're going to look at her orange ability. It's a passive, and it's called Feline Reflexes. So your defense against an adjacent target is a blue, a black, and a yellow. So if you want to get Gata, you're really best doing it with a ranged attack. The moment you're doing this from adjacent to her, what's going to happen is her defense goes up just a little bit. The yellow adds some defense to it, but the bigger thing is that she will gain that yellow die. And once she does that, she has an easier time not only of nullifying a success, because the extra bang possibilities, but she can also displace herself as an alternative. So she might be there, you take your swing, then suddenly she's not there anymore. When you have a character like Musashi, he wouldn't be able to attack twice in a row. If you have a character like, not Deadpool, Senior Massacre, who totally does not sound like Ryan Reynolds in Spanish, she will not be there anymore. And this is really important to trying to keep her alive. So, one of my favorite characters, I've played her a lot since I've started playing Aristeia. But I think what I like about her too, she's got a fair bit of stuff that's good for the team. So looking at her tactics cards, first off, Swerve. During one of your character's activations, you can displace yourself. Anybody can use this. This is situationally good. Displacement always is, but it gets you out of sticky situations. It gets you out of those disengage roles you don't want to be in. It gets you out of line of sight. It can get you into line of sight. This is a fantastic card and is very versatile, whether you're using it defensively, offensively, or you're just trying to position for the next thing. I really, you can tell, I think, that I'm excited by displacements. That's one of my favorite things in the game. Next up, we're going to have Go All Out. During one of your character's activation, gain 1 action point. Now, Musashi has one of these as well, and I waxed poetic on how fantastic that is. The more you learn Aristeia, the more you're going to see, oh my gosh, if I only had 1 more action point. Congratulations, she's one of the characters that can give you that 1 extra action point. As a result, though, you should probably expect to see a no for that. It's not the biggest thing, but when it comes up, it's going to be important. So whether you're going to take Gata and have her move 15 hexes in a single round, or giving someone else a second attack, or any number of things, it gives you a wonderful extra option during the game. It's one of my favorites to put into really any deck I'm playing that has Gata in it. Speaking of Gata, this is one of her 2 character-specific cards. First off is Quicksilver during Gata's activation. Until the end of the round, no enemy effect may displace, move, or place Gata. Also, add a critical success to all of Gata's agility rolls. This is kind of huge. We've been playing a lot of King of the Hill recently, but when you play this, it means once she's in the scoring zone, she stays there unless she gets taken out and sent to the infirmary. The fact that you cannot move or displace or place her really kind of limits Hammerhead ability to manipulate position. It does the same to Valkyrie, who's got her ways to do it. Hexer, whatever, Hexer, you can't touch me. The fact that she gains a critical success means the only characters that can stop her are ones with a green die in their brawl, and they have to get a critical block. That's 1 in 6 odds. It ain't bad odds. I'd play the lottery if I had a 1 in 6 chance of winning something good. But it's still not great odds for stopping her. I think that's really important. Finally is Pain Suppressants. During Gata's activation, that's when you use it. Until the end of the round, instead of receiving damage tokens, Gata receives that number of poison tokens. Poison is one of the few effects in the game that can actually stack along with burning. So if you can basically use this and hammer, your opponent will hammer on you and hammer on you and hammer you. They can't take you out until the end of the round. And it flips over on her next activation. So you will almost certainly lose her that activation. But when you couple that with Quicksilver, that's very effective for scoring. So again, that's Gata. She is one of my favorite characters. I love using her. The scenarios we've been playing recently haven't really favored her. King of the Hill and Blitz. So that is one thing to keep in mind is, will she work for you in the scenario you're playing? When we play Blitz, I tend to go a little more, offensive. So, and I tend to try to make use of the fact that I get points for frags. Like always with King of the Hill, there's a scoring zone that does not move. And while I like her, most of the games we've been having don't really suit her in King of the Hill. But Assault, or something that's going to go on longer, I'm all over it. Gata is an easy pick. She's not a no-brainer, but she's a very easy pick for me. And again, it's partly due to the scoring, but it also gets into shutting down and countering the abilities of the other team when it comes to ranged offense, ranged support. And that's huge. I think that a new player would do well with Gata, just going on the superficial level of I'm going to make use of her speed and I'm going to score. No, that's great. That's that's not just a valid way to use her. That's probably one of the best ways to use her. But making the effort to start learning how to use her as a countermeasure is really the fun. I think where the fun comes in. So that's Gata. If you like this video, press like, comment, please, want to hear what you think, and subscribe. You'll be notified when we get new videos up. You can also check us out on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/shamelessmayhem. We'll be back later on for more Aristeia 99.